Well, this is going to be a quick little tinkering session on today's video. We are looking at this Montana Black Gold dual track. Ran it a couple years ago, loved it. I wished it had 3 pins. The reason, again, with elk, realistically 30 to 50 yards, you're going to not want to have those ranges where you have to dial, because an elk can come charging in and run away within a split second. You could cow call and stop them, and you're going to have to guess the yardage, and it could be going from 20 to 47 yards like that. And if you have a 20, 30, 40, I personally don't feel comfortable putting my 40-yard pin at the top of their back. I'm not that good, especially in the heat of the moment, and I'm not a built-in rangefinder. I could misinterpret the terrain, and maybe he's 53 yards, and I'm like, oh, I'm shooting him for 47, and I'm using my 40-yard pin. That's the fastest way to shoot under an elk, shoot over an elk, or worse yet, wound an elk. So I don't like dialing for elk unless it's beyond 50 yards, preferably like a follow-up shot. And if it's beyond 50 yards, preferably they're feeding or not knowing that I'm there. When they're on full alert, that's just a lot of time for the arrow to get there. So last year I ran a 30, 40, 50 setup, which was pretty dope. That worked out, covered a lot of ranges. You know, anything at 20 yards was about 1.5 inches high. Anything, 25 yards was just a touch high, and everything at 30 to 35 was pretty manageable. This pin gang here is just a double. So the top pin is 20, and then over here, they have these little attachments where you can put dual pin indicators. And these dual pin indicators are funky. And what came with this I didn't like. So I ordered a package from Black Gold's website, and I have multiple of these guys, these indicators, and a couple of bolts or screws to use. So hopefully we can find one that fits and pairs up. So we'll do that. The other thing is, if you're hunting where legal and you need a light, there's nowhere really to screw in a light on a Black Gold unless you take this screw out and put this doodad in right here. And I think a lot of people don't know about this, so I figured I'd order one. I had one on here, and when I was elk hunting, it got ripped off in the brush. So you do have to be conscious of this, and you have to pick the right states. Like Idaho, I always use Idaho as an example, but they don't allow you to put this on there while hunting. Let me just show you this first part first. That's full brightness. That's all the light going on the fibers. I'm gonna turn it off. Can you definitely tell? So, Black Gold with this chromatic patented system, this thing does gather a lot of light when it needs to. And it also does a great job of shielding you when it's really harsh light, protects you from that starbursting when it's really harsh light. This does that on its own. The only time you'd really need this is if you're probably like in a tree stand and its last legal shooting light lasts 5 minutes, pop that on where legal, or if you're in a dark ground blind, pop that out where legal. As far as like hunting out west and stuff, I've never ran into an issue where these pins weren't bright enough. And I've ran into other pin manufacturers or sight manufacturers where I'm like, man, this is such a dark sight. So that's something to consider. And this is an attachment that a lot of people don't know about from Black Gold. Now we need to get the dual indicators figured out here. So let's see how many it came with this. So that gave me 4, and I need enough real estate to do something like this, where this guy will read 20 and this guy can read 40, and they don't hit each other. So that one's not gonna work. This one probably will work. Oh yeah, so here we go. So my situation, based on the amount of real estate I have here, is I have 20 and 50. I can adjust that bottom pin, and I will need to bring it down quite a bit. In order to do that, there is a set screw here, and then go in here inside the sight, and you can move that pin up by loosening it. The pin's getting closer to the top pin. We want to set it so we're going to need it to be as low as possible. That's as low as she goes, making the pin gap as far as possible. We'll tighten the set screw back up. It's snug, and that is our pin gap. When my top pin is at 70, that bottom pin's at 93, and it will maintain that relationship, which will allow you to shoot further distances. So I can slide down to 100 for the top pin, which gives me about 121 on the bottom pin, and that's be as far as I can shoot with this particular bow, the way that it's set up. But so what did we learn? We learned that you can add a light to Black Golds. This is how you do that. I bought this directly from Black Gold's website. Their pin indicator systems I don't love, and you can buy like a little smorgasbord. Black Gold, it's a good option. When y'all gonna make 3 pins, holler at your boy. So arrow wraps, guys, I've been a guy who ran them in the beginning, stopped running them because they're kind of heavy. They put weight in the wrong part of the arrow. But I worked with this guy to make our ElkShape edition ones, and this is what we're looking at. So we have several colors, different designs. I picked the topography. A lot of times I run yellow veins, so I kind of went with 2 different offsets of yellow. This is a cool feature. So we have 3 options based on your arrow diameter, but we have the exact diameter ranges. This is great for not having your wrap overlap, so it's a precise fit, and these suckers only weigh 8 grains. So if you run pretty light veins like I do, your total weight in the back with wrap and 3 veins is right around 25 grains total. And if you're gonna run a lighted knock, not a big deal. I personally love having an arrow wrap to put veins on, because if I wanna change things out, I can just take it all off and it's pretty clean. It also helps identify your arrow, and it also helps you find your arrow after you shot an animal if you don't run lighted knocks, which I usually do not. But we have a whole variety coming to the website, so check it out and get yourself some ElkShape wraps. They don't weigh as much as the competition, and we have specific sizes to match your arrow diameter. I'm having a little pre-workout. I do a fruit leather before I work out. Last part of our tinkering segment, Carter came out with a new and improved trigger system. So this is the Whisper 2. We'll check that out. And we're gonna compare and contrast it with the old trigger system. This looks like a wise choice. Which is a wise choice? This is a Wise Choice 24. You can see the different trigger system. So this is gonna give you a lot more adjustability. Here's their old design right here. They're gonna go away from that. Now you guys are gonna ask, what's that? That's a custom knob from Oki. I love this guy's knobs. So check him out. He's on Instagram only, and you have to send him money via PayPal or Venmo. It works because I sent him money and I got that, but these are the new systems going forward for Carter. So when we do our 3rd batch of these on the ElkShape website, they will come with this, which is just gonna give you more flexibility in where you put this barrel or button to your liking. Some people will want it to be here. Some people might want it back in here. I like it to bite a lot of skin. Personally, this will have your thumb back here versus closer. So you'll have to kind of adjust and play with it to see what style is gonna suit you. Let's mess with it for a second. So we can kind of swivel that to where we like it. So I got it kind of loose. I typically, for a 3-finger, would want it somewhere here. Some people might not like that, but I kind of like to have an index and thumb touching, and then I can just slowly pull and open my hand and expand. So you can swivel that to where you like it. I like it there. Let's just tighten it down. This is a shot trainer. We try to keep these in stock on ElkShape.com. So I'm here. That is just too much. There's just too much tension in there if you guys can't tell. So we're going back to the drawing board. I invert it. Go 1, 2, set it, set your tension, turn right until it pops. Then back it off. This is Carter's way of giving you more adjustments with that thumb barrel, and this is what they're gonna change going forward in 2024. There we go. So a few adjustments. This is the Wise Choice. Okay, so the Whisper 2 with the new and improved button attachment, giving you more real estate. You can take a magnet out by just pushing them out. Now I just made it lighter, and then you can store it in here. So I just took 2 off. I'm gonna leave it as is. Let's just shoot it. So I've adjusted basically the amount of pressure it's gonna take for that spring to break. It's a single hook, so get it set and push your button. Now it's set. This is adjustable as well, so you can kind of, if you're more of a hinge and you want it back here, or take it off and just have a 2-finger, which gives you options. I like options. We're in. I like where the barrel is, and now I'm just gonna pull. That's very clean. You can take out the second magnet and store it as well right here. Or you can run all three if you want. It's up to you. A lot of adjustability. 2 is 1. Let's look at the other one for 24. This is the Revelation. Same system. You can see 3 magnets already in. We have a spot for 2. We know that I like them a little lighter than how they come, so we're gonna push these 2 out. There they are. We're gonna stow them. There they are. We got 1 magnet in. Let's shoot it. There's no adjustment here. If you're not certain, get the Whisper 2. So I'm here. I'm on. I'm into it. Let's have some real talk, just something to think about. If you're gonna hunt out west, for real, and take this in and out of your pocket where it's dusty, it's dirty, there's debris, there's brush, you know, could you lose a magnet? Potentially. Could you get dirt, dust, grime in here? Potentially. So if you are gonna use this system, which I do like it, I want you to have some sort of plan to double check this periodically to make sure you have all the magnets in, because Murphy's Law, anything that can go wrong will go wrong. And the last thing you want is a magnet to get dirty or dusty or pop out, worse yet, and have something off from what you've been training with. But ultimately, these head-to-head, I'm gonna vote here because of the adjustability to suit it to your fancy. But these are both great options with the new trigger system from Carter in 2024. Last but not least, I'm running this Easton Axis match grade. It's a long range, so it's a 4 mil. This is the Easton Titanium half out with 125 grain fill point. You notice how those fit nice and flush. That's important for not putting excess torque, because this is the weakest spot of the arrow. Down here we have those new ElkShape wraps. I cut it actually pretty short, so stock would be here. I cut that much off and matched them all up. So this actually weighs about 5 grains, and then 1, 2, 3, that's 17 grains. So 22 grains on the back with the IP4. This is an FOC of around 14%, and the total arrow weight is at 443, I believe, somewhere right around there. And then I'm running this sight tape right here, guys. We are set at 20, 30, and 40. These 3 pins are adjustable for your gang, which is great. And then I can slide all the way out to 130 yards on this sight tape using my bottom pin. I also have the Dark Owl scope with custom 3-pin configuration based on my feet per second and my shot radius, which is the measurement from my eyeball to my peep at full draw. So those pins are vertical and they are set to my exact game, 20, 30, 40. That's a 10,000 size pin, and I have no light attached to it, and they're very bright. I love the sight picture, and that's what I'm currently running for a sight option at the moment. But we don't want to lose our strength and power, because when we kill, man, we're moving large loads, long distances. We want to be durable. We want to be sturdy. We want to be injury resistant. And sometimes you need to produce or express power. When elk hunting, like literally having a 50-pound pack and you got to sprint up a hill to cut a big bull off, that's not an aerobic event. That's an anaerobic event. So you kind of want to have all these energy systems and maintain muscle. As an elk hunter, you want it all. Warm up, everything, 48 minutes. You make time for the things that you want to make time for. The end. If you make time to check TikTok, Instagram every day, you're gonna make time for it. And then it'll be a subconscious thing you do.
If nothing's in front of you, you're automatically going to grab your phone and scroll for no reason. If you found this channel, there's a reason. I think somebody wanted you to see this and figure out a way to make you better. That's our goal.